Step into the realm of sacred truth, where the voice of the divine speaks directly to our souls and awakens eternal light. They were unaware that you had previously passed away, chosen one. Your veil was lifted in this way. They were planning your demise, but they were unaware that they were going after someone who had already passed through death several times and come out with a supernatural vision that cuts through all of their lies, plans, and pitiful attempts at spiritual warfare. Your near physical and metaphorical death wasn't a tragedy. Rather, it served as your training ground and introduction to powers they can't even fathom. Since you have earned the right to be untouchable through hardships that would have destroyed lesser souls, divine protection now surrounds you like an impenetrable fortress. You, chosen one, have been the victim of karmic energy. This person worked with others to build distrust around you. Therefore, it's not a coincidence or random event. They wanted those who cared about you to doubt your motives, your personality, and your core self. You learned about this person's unhealthy fixation on a love experience that involved you. Their obsession was intense and led them to do things that most people wouldn't think to do. You were able to spot their manipulation right away. You were aware of their attempts to discredit you and their behind-the-scenes string pulling. You triggered safeguards they were unaware of when their desperation reached horrifying proportions, and they banded together to attempt to permanently hurt you. They wanted you gone entirely, intending to make it appear like a natural disaster or accident that wouldn't be traced back to them. But you turned what should have been a planned assault on your life into proof of your heavenly protection. The brightness you bring prevented the darkness in their heart, which reached depths that most people never experience, from penetrating. They were unable to bear your brightness, your abilities, and your divine mission, so they broke boundaries that should never be crossed. The mere fact that you never have to get ready because you stay ready sets you apart from their other targets. Since you've been surrounded by death since birth, you have a unique perspective on spiritual combat. You have a fearlessness that terrifies others who are driven by fear and ego because of your relationship with mortality. A person you both knew, someone you bonded with at different times in your lives, is the source of this whole predicament. This person was someone you knew before they did, and that timing priority laid the groundwork. When you were acknowledged as a gift to this person, they were unable to accept it. Their jealousy was turned into your greatest testimonial by you. This individual had been planning, anticipating a future in which they would go forward with you and perhaps even live with you. Something real, something pure, something that exposed what they lacked was symbolized by the relationship between you two. You made the wise and gracious decision to deal with their learning of these evolving plans. By avoiding drama, avoiding poisonous relationships, and maintaining your dignity, you fully upheld your integrity rather than making concessions or compromising your values. Those choices laid the groundwork for your eventual triumph. Your spiritual growth was demonstrated by the fact that you chose to just leave their disarray rather than fight or interact with them. Non-engagement is sometimes the most powerful tactic. If you feel the divine love, now is the time to share. Click the super thank you button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you 1,000,000-fold. Because it brought attention to their own inner turmoil, your peace turned into their worst threat. Being untouchable, unreachable, and unaffected by people's desperate attempts to drag you into dysfunction is sometimes enough to win a battle. You proved that a chosen one doesn't have to fight every conflict. You avoided entanglements that would have sapped your energy and caused you to lose sight of your goal because of your emotional intelligence. You're dealing with more than just romantic rivalry or jealousy. You turned on defense mechanisms they were unaware of when they planned an insurance fraud scam with your life at its center. You could see their calculating greed approaching from a great distance, but their deeds lacked any heart or love. Before they had a chance to carry out their strategy completely, you identified their network of partners. You were already 10 steps ahead spiritually, even while they made up responsibilities, made false promises, and set up situations in which your harm would lead to their financial benefit. By keeping your energy so clear that their confusion and delusions couldn't adhere to anyone around you, you broke their attempts to bind others to their agenda, making everyone around you doubt reality, your worth, and your right to be in their area was their aim. Rather, anyone with discernment could see their deceit because of your genuineness. The extent of their preparation demonstrated a degree of forethought that is uncommon for most people. They weren't just behaving impulsively or emotionally. This was a planned, deliberate move that would help them while ruining you. You responded to this realization by fortifying your spiritual barriers and fully relying on your inner direction. When you learnt of their heartless financial calculations, you responded brilliantly. You raised your energy to frequencies that their schemes couldn't reach, rather than becoming alarmed or attempting to battle them on an equal footing. You realize that becoming so bright that shadows vanish on their own is the best approach to combat darkness. You, chosen one, have a relationship with death that they essentially misinterpreted. Since the day of your birth, you have been walking with death, therefore you have an understanding with it. This is the source of your unwavering power and your best defense, so don't be afraid of it. Throughout your life, you have turned several symbolic deaths into insight that most people never gain. You have even survived near-death situations, each time raising your veil higher and higher. Every near-miss, symbolic conclusion, and nearly missed opportunity raised your spiritual status to levels they couldn't understand. Because your entire life has been preparing for times like these, you have established a condition of perpetual readiness for spiritual combat. They faced someone who had previously been put to the test by fire, someone who had already passed through the valley of death and come out stronger, wiser, and closer to the divine source when they came against you. They are unable to comprehend the levels at which your spiritual standing functions. Because you have earned your protection through hardships that would have broken lesser souls, you are protected in ways that most people never get. In comparison to what you have already experienced, their attacks seem like child's play because of the way you are connected to source energy. Chosen one, their present condition tells you all you need to know about how their actions will turn out. Their well-thought-out plans vanish the instant they came into contact with your energy, which is why you have devoured them with anxiety. They've been reading about you in an attempt to figure out why their attack was so wildly unsuccessful. You thoroughly destroyed their confidence by proving that you are always prepared for spiritual combat. They are deeply affected by the realization that they face someone who was functioning on an entirely other spiritual plane. You're ready for attacks they didn't even know were feasible, but they found out too late. You've made their own prison out of their broken promises. They set expectations they can't meet, made promises they can't keep, and are now frantically trying to handle the consequences of their botched plot. They are now burdened by every lie they told to support their plot against you. They are attempting to re-establish contact with you in their desperation, believing that you will be sympathetic to their plight and comprehend what they have tried. You know that extending sympathy to unrepentant opponents is not wise. Rather, it is self-defeating, which is why you maintain impeccable boundaries. You've put them in a position where they must learn the hard way that the cosmos has ways of upholding justice that are beyond human comprehension when you come for a chosen one. Their fear is proof of your might. Your protection is demonstrated by their desperation. Their nervousness is proof that you won. Your spiritual growth is evident in the way you handled their attempts at reconciliation. Their created crisis and crocodile tears don't move you. You realize that no matter how regretful they say they are when their schemes don't work out, those who would plot your death don't deserve to have access to your energy. Put that thought aside. I need your whole focus. Nothing you've heard today compares to this. We're sharing what we know about personal power, including how to activate your divine mission, heal others, and heal yourself. No holding back, no fluff, no filters. Every week on Zoom, we reveal the precise methods that transformed us from mindless puppets into sentient producers. We've filled it with the esoteric codes we've acquired over the course of years of actual spiritual conflict and metamorphosis. Brother, whatever is done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. Joining the Obsidian Inner Order is an invitation to enhance a worldwide frequency that awakens other selected individuals, in addition to gaining access to knowledge that is prohibited. You're entering a movement that is altering reality itself, not just answering a call. We all benefit from it in every way. The order is waiting for you. Link in description. Their animosity is based on your profession and the unexpected revenue it brings in, chosen one. You've mastered the art of living in such harmony with your mission that material prosperity comes to you organically. Since they're working from struggle and you're working from flow, they think it's impossible for you to produce money in ways that feel effortless. Everything people believed they knew about their own worth was in jeopardy because of your ability to rekindle their passion and remind them of their own potential. Just by being in your true power, you expose their spiritual insolvency. They will never be able to match what you have, a true connection to the source of energy that leads to actual prosperity. Being in your divine purpose makes your work feel like play. Your career and passion are a great match, resulting in a flow of life they can only imagine. You embody selflessness, compassion, and unconditional love in ways that emphasize all of its shortcomings. Their own incapacity to love without agenda was revealed when they witnessed your sincere love, not romantic fixation, but real concern for others' welfare. Their spiritual poverty was revealed in ways they couldn't ignore by the inherent riches you possess, the ease with which blessings come your way, and your capacity to change lives just by being who you are. They opted to be intimidated by your example rather than motivated by it. Their jealousy has been transformed into your testimony. Every attack that stems from their jealousy serves as proof of your true blessings. You know you're carrying something special and strong that not everyone can manage when people despise you for your gifts rather than applauding them. Chosen one, you've already overcome shame and turned it into wisdom that most people never get. Others would have given up entirely in the valleys you have traversed. You reacted in a way that really shocked them as they tried to further degrade you and crush whatever spirit they believed was still there. Your near-fatal encounters weren't coincidental or unintentional. You have experienced horrible events that needed supernatural intervention to survive, and you have been on hospital tables. All of these events prepared you for the spiritual battle you are in right now. You know what most people don't know. Death is your teacher, not your enemy. You answered to their onslaught with something they didn't anticipate, laughing. You saw their complex plan and knew it for what it was, the desperate behavior of a man driven by lack and terror. You demonstrated a level of spiritual development they were unable to understand by finding humor in their attempts to ruin you. You have a viewpoint that most people never have because of your friendship with death. You realize that your exit from this world will occur in accordance with divine timing rather than the schemes of jealous people. You become brave as a result of this knowledge, frightening others who are motivated by deception and ego. You learnt from your many metaphorical deaths that endings are actually disguised beginnings. You've come out stronger, wiser, and closer to your actual power each time you've had to let go of who you were in order to become who you were destined to be. You're comfortable with change in ways that make other people uncomfortable since you've died so many times to outdated versions of yourself. You possess the energy of someone who has braved a fire and come out of it not burned but cleansed. Your scars serve as evidence that you survived. Your difficulties have been the basis of your testimony, and your suffering has been turned into strength. You are living proof that those who are chosen not only live, but flourish. Chosen one, you have a keen vision that breaks through illusions that most people are totally unaware of. You are dangerous to people who would rather work in the dark because of your clairvoyance, prophetic abilities, and sensitivity to supernatural forces and influences. When you are attacked, your ancestral protection automatically activates, enveloping you like an unbreakable shield. You are linked to generations-old wisdom traditions through your shamanic energy. Gifts that identify you as someone selected for a certain role in this life are carried by you. They were completely clueless about who they were up against. When they observed your generosity, they made the deadly error of interpreting it as weakness. They saw your calm and wrongly assumed you were not ready for battle. They couldn't have been more mistaken about who you really were. Those who are accustomed to readily deceiving others are intimidated by the spiritual sophistication with which you work. Liars are uneasy with you because they sense that you are seeing right through their masks. You can sense when someone is acting from darkness in your soul right away, so you don't need evidence. Chosen one, the person at the center of this triangle, is currently going through heartbreak since you demonstrated what true connection looks like to them before they decided to engage in an activity that wasn't in their best interests. Because they let themselves be tricked into violating a sincere friendship, they are hurting. Early detection of the manipulation allowed you to take decisive action, cutting off all energy access. They were trying to create illusions, but you saw through them and left the whole thing before it could hurt you anymore. Your prompt action maintained your integrity in addition to protecting yourself. You gave an example of what it looks like for someone to value themselves enough to leave toxic relationships, even when those relationships involve others they care about. A strong statement about your standards and refusal to engage in dysfunction was conveyed by your choice to sever all relationships. Because you set such clear boundaries that the facts could not be concealed indefinitely, this person is currently dealing with legal issues related to the conspiracy against you. Because you choose not to take part in the cover-up by remaining silent or complying, the false narrative they helped establish is coming to an end. You transform their betrayal into their education because of your sincerity. Allowing someone to bear the consequences of their choices is sometimes the best gift you can give them. All that has come to light since then supports your determination to keep all harmful energy from getting to you. Your heavenly protection system is functioning flawlessly when you are able to identify dysfunction and remove yourself before it gets out of control. You've shown that those who are selected don't have to save everyone or fight every conflict. Even when people make heartbreaking decisions, sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to take a back seat and let them learn from their mistakes. You have a unique understanding of balance that most people never do. You are complete in ways that frighten those who only comprehend one aspect of the spiritual spectrum, chosen one, since you are a giver and taker of both light and dark energy. When working with light frequencies, you put your all into channeling restoration, healing, and love with a purity that changes everyone in your vicinity. When working with dark vibrations, you also put your all into it because you know that sometimes rebirth requires destruction, and that sometimes you have to take away what doesn't serve to make room for what does. Your handling of confrontation shows how mature your spirituality is. You give them an option. We can all get along and be polite, or we can take a whole other approach. You are ready for any reaction they may have because You can function in both calm and confrontational energy without losing your composure. Those who prefer predictable opponents find you worrying because of your willingness to engage on any level, physical, emotional, or spiritual. Since you are equally at ease in all spheres of life, they are unable to confine you to a single tactic. Without sacrificing your essential qualities, you adjust to whatever energy other people provide. Chosen one, you finished a metamorphosis that forced you to endure things that most people never make it through. Legally and spiritually, you've advanced to a point where their attacks are no longer able to harm you. This isn't merely a theory. It's a fact that is currently manifesting itself in your life. You have such genuine energy that their lies couldn't hold when they attempted to portray you as someone you're not and fabricate stories about your goals and character. Your true self shines too brilliantly for their delusions to find any purchase, which is why every attempt failed. Everyone who matters can see the truth radiating from your very nature, and you have never been what they attempted to portray you as. Their charges are overshadowed by your character. Your behavior runs counter to their lies. Their deceit is immediately exposed by your energy. Your gifts are confirmed by the indisputable outcomes of your spiritual practices rather than by approval from others. Even you are astounded by the accuracy with which your prayers are answered. You are well protected from strikes that would destroy others. Your adversaries defeat themselves by their own deeds, but you are unaffected. If you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. May His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. In your community and among those who have witnessed your path, everyone who genuinely knows you has always recognized your gift, chosen one. It is widely acknowledged that you possess a unique, uncommon, and potent quality that cannot be replicated or produced. Each of the several deaths you've survived, some metaphorical, others almost actual, was a step in your journey to spiritual mastery. The darkness you've experienced was a necessary prelude to the brightness you currently possess. In reality, every hardship, every failure, and every near miss was preparing you for this moment. Trials that would have broken lesser spirits have refined your discernment. Because you have gained all of your wisdom via first-hand experience with life's most difficult lessons, your energy has grown rich and abundant. You have lived, endured, and triumphed over spiritual truths. You don't only know them intellectually. In ways that transcend common sense, people in your community have witnessed you turn suffering into strength, tragedy into victory, and failures into victories. They have seen your capacity to keep going when others would have given up entirely, to find hope when everything else appeared lost, and to find light in the darkest circumstances. You are now a real example of how those who are chosen not only make it through their hardships, but also use them as stepping stones to greater powers and states of consciousness. Your mere existence is evidence that what doesn't break you actually makes you stronger, smarter, and closer to God. Your community recognizes you based on what they have seen you become, not on what you say you are, through fire, hardship, and situations that have shown your genuine character and spiritual fortitude. Within minutes of meeting someone, you are able to see through their facade since you have such a keen sense of discernment. You can tell the difference between real persons and fakes in an instant. This capacity for truth-seeking keeps you away from those who might sap your vitality or divert your goals. You are strong because your career and your purpose, your spiritual calling and your practical activity in the world are perfectly aligned. Because you're flowing with your nature rather than fighting it, this integration makes you invincible. Working in your heavenly sweet spot has allowed you to construct a life where your work seems like play. Money flows easily when your career and passion align since you're offering value derived from your genuine talents rather than artificially created abilities. Because it demonstrates that prosperity is achievable when you are in alignment with your genuine purpose, your success poses a threat to those who are struggling. Small-minded people prefer to be terrified by your example rather than inspired by it. Their response to your achievement betrays their own lack of spirituality. Chosen one, you've entirely changed, moving past the antiquated spiritual ideas and paradigms that formerly characterized your path. You've broken free from the habits that held you back or prevented you from realizing your full potential. Now, it is your responsibility to teach others by setting an example, by surviving, and by overcoming situations that would have devastated others. Your very presence demonstrates that those who are chosen may triumph in any spiritual conflict, withstand any conspiracy, and defeat any attack. You've established an unwavering inner knowing about who you are and what you carry, so you've moved past need for outside validation for your skills. Your faith is based on outcomes that have been demonstrated, prayers that have been answered, and triumphs that cannot be attributed to chance or coincidence. Without becoming susceptible to deception, your compassion has grown. You can care for others without compromising your own health, love people without allowing them to deplete you, and provide support without condoning dysfunction. Because you are essentially different from who you were before these difficulties started, your speech, your mannerisms, and your very being have all changed to reflect your new spiritual status. Instead of emanating from academic understanding, your energy exudes authority derived from lived experience. You now understand the difference between true spirituality and trauma bonding, between true love and compulsive attachment, and between divine timing and impatience. You can avoid repeating outdated patterns that no longer support your enlightened consciousness by using this discernment. People may sense that your energy has changed because you are now vibrating at frequencies that only draw things that are meant for you and repel those that could hurt you. You've undergone such a full metamorphosis that you instantly repel curses and attract blessings like a spiritual magnet. The healing power in your hands comes straight from the source. As the chosen one, you have the ability to channel divine vibrations that can heal wounds that others believe are irreversible, revitalize spirits, and restore life. This is the actual power that runs through you when you are in alignment with divine purpose. It is not a metaphor. The fact that you can repair yourself shows that you have access to regenerative forces that most people do not. You have repeatedly shown that you are capable of recovering from trauma, injuries, and setbacks that would cause others to suffer lifelong harm. The healing powers of your body, mind, and soul are beyond medical comprehension. You become so fully in tune with the source energy that harmony and balance come easily to you. You become a live conduit for divine healing when you are using your skills. Simply being around you makes people feel better because you radiate healing and uplifting energies. Rebirth, metamorphosis, and regeneration are all part of who you are. You are the ocean of resurrection. You stand as evidence that death is not final, that ends can lead to new beginnings, and that something that seems shattered can be brought back to its former splendor. You have the capacity to heal not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You can help individuals discover hope in circumstances they thought were hopeless, recover from losses they felt were irreversible, and heal from pain they thought was permanent. You demonstrated that your nature is still in line with love, even in the midst of treachery, by healing the exact individual who joined the plot against you. Few people ever attain the spiritual mastery that you have, as evidenced by your ability to continue to channel healing energy towards those who hurt you. Every time you choose forgiveness over retaliation, healing over harm, and love over fear, your bond with the source energy gets stronger. Regardless of how other people treat you, You've become a live example of what happens when someone continuously takes the higher road. Both of them are now in pain, chosen one, going through repercussions that are exactly in line with the energy they expended on the cosmos when they chose to destroy you. You're doing well in the meantime, unconcerned by their plots, earning real money from your supernatural talents, and working as an influencer whose light draws people in naturally. Because you aligned with truth and they aligned with deceit, your success flourishes while their world falls apart. Your tranquility stands in stark contrast to their disorder in ways that plainly demonstrate universal justice. You're experiencing an unfathomable calm while they're battling relationship conflict, anxiety, legal issues, and financial difficulties. People want to help you succeed because they know that you're aligned with something more than yourself, opportunities that others find difficult to find, and resources that come to you out of the blue are all examples of the divine favor you've generated in your life. For their energies, chosen one, the game is over. Universal law has been applied, divine justice has spoken, and the results make it abundantly evident who acts in good faith and who acts in dishonesty. Their loss is a cosmic affirmation that light always triumphs over darkness, not just a human one. Your triumph serves as a reminder to all other selected individuals who may encounter comparable attacks. Remain true to yourself, have faith in your defense, uphold your integrity, and see how the universe deals with your adversaries in ways that surpass your expectations. Unquestionably, the fact that you were always the answer, the blessing, the gift they were too stupid to appreciate, and the reason they fell while you rose is proof that you were never the issue. God will continue to safeguard you on your trip, chosen one, and your blessings will increase every day rather than decrease with time. In your life, things like love, harmony, peace, prosperity, protection, respect, good health, and excellent fortune are being established as long-term fixtures rather than fleeting moments. Without a shore, your triumph over this plot validates your chosen status. Your ability to withstand their well-planned attack proves your spiritual superiority in ways that cannot be questioned. Your ongoing prosperity in the face of their suffering is proof that divine timing and flawless accuracy underpin universal justice. You are now living evidence that those who are chosen not only make it through their trials, but also turn them into testimonials that encourage others to see their own strength. Numerous other chosen ones who experience similar attacks will be inspired by your narrative to believe in their protection and stick to their truth. You are exactly who you were supposed to be, exactly where you were supposed to be, and you are carrying exactly the power you were supposed to carry. So go forward with total confidence, chosen one. By their own deeds, your foes have vanquished themselves. Your future shines brighter than the sun, and your protection is still out of reach. Your every breath is proof of God's favor. You follow cosmic knowledge at every turn. Cosmic forces underpin every decision you make, guaranteeing your eventual triumph in everything. Because you have demonstrated your dedication to upholding the ultimate good, the cosmos itself is working in your favor. Fire is the source of your blessings, pain is the source of your wisdom, and perseverance is the source of your might. You have been selected. You're safe. You can't be stopped.